Boys, good morning. Um, Today I want to talk about the Harlow experiments. They were done on rhesus monkeys in the 1930s, and they were pretty horrifying, in my opinion. And I only bring them up because I felt like the last few times that I've released to the hub, maybe even, longer than that, because I think this was the entire reason that I even started semen retention in the first place. There comes a point, man, where you can only bust so many nuts to a pixel before you start to really feel like there's something wrong, right? And you feel like there's something wrong, like with you, like psychologically, fundamentally, like something is going on. And this ties into these experiments in a way. Because I think that, when you bust a nut, it's literally like you're obviously meant to be doing it with another human being that has like a life force coursing through them, like they're alive, right? And the human brain, the human body, like all our social wiring, like we're designed to connect, with another human being. So, dude, after so many nuts being busted to just like pixels, I started to feel like I'm literally at the point where I feel like I can't do it anymore. When I do it, I get so depressed. Like I get so the depression, the apathy, like there's just this like void that I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't and because my body is saying like, my body is thinking like when you bust a nut, there's supposed to be somebody next to you, somebody that you can talk to afterwards, somebody that they can like wrap their arms around you and you can smell them and you can touch them and like they're soft, they're alive, that it's supposed to be that there's a connection afterwards, right? And so when you release and there's just nothing in the room after, right? You turn off, you just put down the phone and you're just like alone. That it might be all well and good for, or if you have a girlfriend, that might be all well and good. You can get away with that. But for the vast majority of men that don't have anybody, and if you do this for a prolonged period of time, I think that, you can only do it for so long, right? And these experiments that were done on monkeys was kind of illustrated something similar, like kind of the same sort of dynamic going on. So what this dude Harlow did with these monkeys is he placed them in cages with either a mother that was soft, so she had like a towel over her, a soft mother, and had like some cushioning, or just a wire, like a wood and wire mother that there was no comfort about it. And what he did was he switched between giving the wire mother food and water, and the comfort mother giving her food and water, and only one of them would have it, right? So either the comfort mother would have the nourishment or the food, or the wire mother would have the food. And so he alternated it, and he wanted to see which one the monkeys would gravitate towards. And overwhelmingly, the monkeys would always gravitate towards the comforted the comfort mother, the one that was soft, that had the cloth over it. And they would only, even in the situation, even in the experiment where the wire mother had the food, the monkeys would still overwhelmingly be attached to the cloth mother. And they would only venture over to the wire mother for when they needed to eat. And then that's all they used her for, just to eat, and then they go back to the cloth mother. He also did some experiments of, isolation, basically social deprivation, complete isolation of monkeys for periods of 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and they all came out severely psychologically disturbed. They had social abnormalities. They could not socialize. They had terrible stress responses. A lot of them showed signs of like severe autism. They would just huddle in corners and like suck their thumbs and stuff like that. And the same goes for monkeys that were reared on actual mother monkeys versus these monkeys that were reared on a cloth fake monkey. Obviously, they had severe social issues as well. They had psychological issues. They had trouble with, adapting with, interacting with other monkeys. So, I think this just obviously highlights the obvious, which it should be obvious, but you just don't see that this is kind of this. I mean, I think that the hub is like a huge problem. I think that it's devastating for like a ton of men out there. And like most men are single out there, like 50 to 60% of men are single out there. So you know what they're doing. Like they're just busting nuts to the hub in their rooms or in their basements or whatever. And I think that this, obviously it's not entirely the same because we're talking about monkeys instead of humans, and they were being reared. Like this was like, they're being reared. They're infants. They're of a very young age, these monkeys. We're obviously adults, like us men that are jerking it to the hub, like we're adults. But I think the same goes, like a long enough time where you're doing this, I think it really just wreaks havoc on you. And you can only do it for so long before, like they there's that saying of like, eventually the pain of staying the same, of the status quo, is overwhelms the pain of changing, right? It's more than the pain of changing something. So we all eventually get to that point, eventually. You can just only do this. You can just only do this for so long. And I know that I bring a lot of humor to this subject, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the humor. Obviously, humor is very dear to me. I think it's a great way of exploring complex subjects and going to philosophical extremes. I think it's a good way to think about things. I think that humor is essential, but the underlying message of my content, or like what I'm even doing here on this channel, I think it is fairly serious. It's something that's, I get behind this camera and joke a lot, but like it's, the fact is very real that I am, I am a dude that's like, that struggles with pornography and jerking off, and have for 17 years, and it's it's something that I need to need to address, but easier said than done, easier said than done, especially from the people who like these people are by all means normal. A lot of these people are like, oh, fucking stop thinking about it or just go outside. It's like, okay, like, but they're like normal and they've had like a girlfriend their entire lives and they've never had like a 5-month period of being single, and it's just not the same. But and why I got so into pornography and why so many men do it, we all have our different reasons. I think a lot of us can do it because of trauma. Like if you've had experiences with women in the past, and whether that be, even not even romantic experiences, but even platonic experiences with your mother, experiences with your sister, or just experiences with women in general, teachers or whatever, any woman that you form some sort of bond with, and maybe you were manipulated or taken advantage of, or there was some abuse going on or whatever, it lessens your trust in, when there is the option to get a romantic partner. It's like, why would I do that when I can just look at the hub and kind of meet my needs there, and I don't have to worry about getting don't have to worry about being manipulated or being hurt. Like, you don't have to worry about being hurt, right? There's no pain that comes with that. You're safe, basically. Like, the hub is it's like safe for a lot of men, right? But it comes with a different sort of cost. It comes with there is a price. There is a massive price to it. And it's this sort of lack of just obviously like a lack of connection, right? You just have a lack of it. We're all these monkeys. Like, I literally feel like after dude, I can't even tell you, like, the last few times, especially, like, it's getting worse. Like, it's getting a lot worse. Like, if I look at the hub and I bust to it, especially like after like a long gooning session, I you just feel so like empty, bro. Like, and not even empty like your balls are empty. You feel like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need somebody. Like, I need somebody. Like, there's nobody here. There's nobody here. I feel fucking like, what the hell am I doing? Like, you're these monkeys that are just like, I need something to cling to. You need something to cling to. You need some sort of comfort. And we're all these monkeys that are just like clinging to this cloth mother. I mean, this is one way you can look at it, is like, you're using the hub as like this proxy, and you think it's like fine because you're getting your nourishment. You're getting some sort of nourishment, right? You're busting the nut. You're getting your needs met, right? This is your need. This is all we all have a need here. I don't really know if it's so much that sort of need as it is you need some sort of connection or warmth or touch with other people. I think touch is very important, but I think that this situation is for, and the men that have girlfriends, I'm not talking to you guys. I'm not talking to anybody that's like, that's not actually just like alone, looking at the hub all the time, doesn't know what the fuck's going on, has social anxiety, all this stuff, right? If you're like me, we're all these just monkeys that are just latching on to these fake surrogate, mechanical wooden, mothers, so to speak. This is your safety. This is your comfort. But, like I said before, when they were doing these experiments and then they took these monkeys that were reared this way and then they put them in, social connection, or, out with other monkeys that were reared by actual mothers, like actual monkeys, actual female monkeys. I mean, it was night and day. I mean, they couldn't form bonds. They were all very like psychologically damaged. They were just very depressed. They couldn't interact. They would have problems with anger. They would have problems with fear. They could lash out at other monkeys. They had problems bonding, right? And I think, like, look, the hub is, we all like to joke about it, but like this shit is terrible, bro. It's literally like awful. Um, and I would know because I've looked at it more than probably most men out there. So I've had a closer relationship with it, more familiar with it than most men. And not only that, but most men use the hub and they also have a girlfriend or they're fucking other, actual women. Me, that's not the case. It's just strictly the hub, right? And right now I'm on like a long streak of, I think it's like 16, 17 days, something like that. I don't like to count because then, I don't know. I just like to just not think about it, right? Just completely put it out of my mind. But it's getting to a point where, like, it's almost like this is for my own survival at this point. Like, I cannot, I cannot bust another nut to like nothing, to like just some mechanical shit, Like, I can't keep latching on to this mother that just has cloth on her and like some fake eyeballs. You know what I mean? And like, this is obviously don't want any pity here. This is not like a pity video. It's just, I'm just being honest. This is kind of like where I'm at, and I think a lot of men are in a similar situation. Maybe even women are in this situation. I don't know. I don't know how much they struggle with this stuff, but bro, it's just not. We got to figure out some way, to find our way back. To get like some. To get a beating heart next to you. I don't know. I might, dude. I've even considered like those services where like you can pay to like some bitch to just come and she'll just like lay with you for like an hour. I think they showed that in like Game of Thrones. There was like a chick who, she was like a prostitute, but the dude, he was one of the unsullied, right? The dudes that get their balls cut off and they can't talk or whatever. And he was one of the unsullied, and he goes to her hut, and like she, he can do stuff with her like sexually if he wants, but he doesn't choose that. He just wants to be held by her. She just like holds him, and she like I think she like rubs his head or something like that. Anyway, she ends up slicing his throat because she works for or she's part of like some terrorist organization. But we won't pay attention to that part. Obviously, I would want that minus the throat getting slit. But I've considered that. I've considered just like, man, it would just be nice just to. I don't even want to have sex with a woman. I honestly, I don't even know if I really want a woman in my life. Like, I don't want to deal with like your shit on a day-to-day basis. I don't want necessarily to talk to you because most of you are not interesting. I think that most of you would just, I mean, literally like 99% of you would just make my life worse. But at the same time, like, I do understand that I need some sort of like human, like, touch, right? Like, you need touch. Like, it's, a lot of men out there, like, it's been a long time since anybody even touched you. Like, for more than like maybe like a brief hug or something. You get like a hug every like 3 months when you visit your parents, or I don't know. But I've thought about this. I have seriously thought about just like maybe I should just pay a woman to just come over and just hug me, you know, for like an hour. Just kind of lay with me. Um, and that might sound like pathetic to you guys, but I don't know. It's just being honest. You know, what do you expect? What do you expect out of me? But yeah, dude, I just make these videos because, you know, hopefully, who knows, man? Maybe one day this hub gets really bad, and like men are just. I think it's already getting bad, and it might get even worse. And maybe someday down the road, like it might just be all this like this might be planned, like a social condition. Like they've done these experiments. Right? I just cited an experiment. Who knows all the other crazy experiments they've done? But if you take these, you know, if you know that men are super driven by just like lust, and you know, you in this day and age, you know, so many men cannot get access to women because, you know, women have so many men to choose from nowadays, and they can hide them all in their phone, and everything's private. Nothing is, you don't know what a woman is, how many men she's entertaining at once, whereas that's not been the case historically. So now she has so many options, and all these women are gravitating towards, you know, really the top, you know, 1 or 2% of men. So what that leaves is just all these men that they're going to be looking for these surrogate connection, surrogate, you know, these cloth women in the form of pixels on a screen, and what that's going to do to the whole world of men is, I don't think that people are really understanding the gravity of this. Like, they are killing you, right? They're literally killing you. Psychologically, mentally, emotionally, they're just wrecking you. You know, so at a certain point, it becomes a matter of just self-preservation. You know, like I said, I feel like I cannot do this. Like I cannot keep doing this. You know, you get to a certain point where that didn't used to be. I didn't used to feel that. I didn't used to feel like the overwhelming sadness after I bust a nut, right? I didn't used to feel sadness. I think I was just so numb at that point. Like I was so numb back then, and I was doing so much other stuff, and I was so distracted, and I was drinking every now and again, you know, doing nicotine, and I was just so distracted, bro. I didn't even know what I was feeling, what was underneath the surface, and but now it's like, dude, I busted out to the hub, and I'm sad, like just sad, like there's such sadness there, because I'm just like, I, you know, what, like, it's all mechanical, like I'm clinging on to something, and it's just like, but it's not real. It's not real. You know, I need some actual. I need some life. I need something living here. You know. Um, I haven't even taken a sip of my coffee this entire time. It's cold. Shameless with the Vildiarta plugs. I don't even know how to say it. Vildiarta. 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 If you haven't listened to Vildiarta, you know, you're missing out. But been listening to a lot of shit. I should probably end this video, but been listening to a lot of shit lately. Just everything, bro. Classical, jazz, gent, metal, progressive metal, fucking electronic, everything under the sun, bro. Anything you can imagine. I'm on like a freaking musical awakening, I think. I've just been devouring new music like crazy. Like I've been like ravenous on new music. Just all sorts of music, bro. It's definitely strange. I've never had that before. A lot of us get stuck in our ways where we're like, we only want to listen to like the things that we know, and like anything new, we're like hesitant and like, oh, I might not like it, blah blah blah. Nah, I used to be like that. Now I'm just like, I'm listening to everything. But I think this album changed me forever. It's just like, oh fuck. But anyway, I'll end the video. That's it. That's the video.